streaming now. First. Get one. Yeah. We live? Well, I've already got people ready and waiting, so that's good news. I think we are live. Normally it asks me on this one, like, do you want to go live here too? And I was like, yeah. But it didn't ask me this time. Are we live? Can everybody hear us? Yeah, maybe it's just a test. People are waving, so I'm going to assume. I think they were waving before we even went live. That was the trouble. Okay. Yeah, please confirm, because we know now never just to slide straight into that conversation. Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Until we're sure. No, I'm not so sure. What's saying? Oh, yes, I can hear you. Well, that's a good sign. It's great news. I'm glad you can. So, they get it through mine. Earth is happening. This is going to be the strangest start to a podcast if it is happening. But, you know, it kind of fits our... Oh, yeah. Feeling. Things will... I know that we shouldn't manifest that things will never go smoothly, but it's more about accepting. Accepting that one day, maybe we'll get it right, but until then, there's no point, like, waiting for that to make me happy. I'm just accepting that chaos is how we live. I've literally spent the whole day trying to work out why all these mics that we've purchased don't work, and I have no idea. So if anyone is a sound, yeah, some sort of wizard with the audio, please get in contact. I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, feel free to give us some pointers on how to get the mics to work. Please. Thanks, Kat. I just messaged saying that she's loving my hair. It's lovely. I'm so aggressive. It's lovely. We're obviously live on a Thursday instead of a Wednesday, so the plans. Oh yeah, I forgot to say. Yeah. Hi, it's Thursday, not Wednesday. Yeah. So I did this last night. This was tonight's plan. So I switched it around, and I went brighter so that I don't have to do it as often. So that it fades out for longer, if you see what I mean. I like that. Is that how it happens? It will just grow. Yeah, it just fades out usually. But the last few times I've used a different dye, so it seems to have faded out super quick. So I'm hoping that this holds a little bit longer, because you know how busy and hectic life is, that dyeing my hair is the last thing I need to be doing every few weeks. It's the reason I don't currently have very dyed hair. I used to do it when I was a kid. Every other month it was a different colour. Yeah. And just the upkeep. The reason I was doing it that often is because of how quickly it faded. Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? Any crazy colour, doesn't matter what you go for, they always fade. What's not that? I have no idea what that word says, Anna. Oh, bedroom. I had my phone in the bedroom. I had my phone in the Enon. What is this Enon that you speak of? She's got a fancy home. Thank you for everybody joining us a day late. Yes, appreciate it. And apologies for us not being here yesterday. Well, rather than apologies, thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience. You're right, we need to reword it. Fur babies come first. Yeah, my cat got bit by another cat, and it's not been healing. And without going into gross detail, oops, he just wasn't getting better, and now he's got like an ear infection from the wound going into his ear, or like pus dripping. It's just, I said I wouldn't go into detail, and here I am in detail. People like that kind of thing, I'm sure. Oh no, it makes me like, I'm like, hurry up, because normally I sit down to eat as well when I watch something that I enjoy, and it's like, yeah, I'm glad you're talking about this right now. Apologies if we're a day late and we're ruining your dinner. But yeah, we're here now, and that's what counts.
We are here, and we've got a fun episode. I actually think we should just look straight at the video. Just get into it. The start has already been insane. So, should have had this already sorted, but I was busy doing the mics.
The mics that aren't here.
They're here. There's like 4 of them. It's a graveyard.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is this something for me to react to or what? Or is it you're just showing it me?
This happened literally. There's a reason that we're here tonight instead of last night, because if it had happened last night, it'd have happened while we were live and we wouldn't have seen it.
Oh, okay.
So over in America, I mean, we love America for their criminal justice system. It's quite an interesting one.
Judge Judy.
Judge Judy, 100%. And when I saw this, I thought of you because I thought of I'd love to see Judy react to this. What would she do?
Probably a big old eye roll.
Paddy Power Bingo has free bingo.
Hold on.
We don't need adverts.
I don't need to be giving you adverts from them. You get enough throughout YouTube, I'm sure. This is where you come to get ad-free entertainment. Have you realised? Do you ever sell to people like that?
Ad-free entertainment?
We don't have to watch any adverts. There's about at least 2 days worth of content.
All in this hour. There's nothing worse, is there, when you're watching an hour programme and then it's like every 5 minutes there's adverts. That I don't know about you, but if I'm watching something, because I've not got YouTube Premium, and if I'm watching something and I was really into this documentary once, and literally less than every 5 minutes they'll put an advert on, and I will just find something else to watch if it's too much.
100%. People can pirate stuff so easy these days. I don't know why.
On the other hand, though, YouTubers that I really enjoy, when there's adverts coming on every 10-15 minutes, like a normal person, I will let the ad play out to give them the
100%.
YouTube etiquette. I learned that from Kat and Kyle. Leave the ads to play out on the YouTubers that you like.
Yeah, I mean, there's YouTube etiquette. I'm looking at it as more of YouTube karma. Like, if I can give out what I wish to receive. That's how
I live life, especially driving. I give way to so many cars, and I'm like, please pay me back. But like, I'm patient. It's fine. I've got all the time in the world.
And someone cuts you up, and you're like, what did I do that for? Okay, so
let's see this then. What is cracking?
Man suspended license shocks judge after joining court with. So since COVID, Zoom court has been still quite like prominent. It's they figured out it's quite efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Zoom.
Sorry.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Tate for Mr. Harris, who should be present via Zoom.
There he is. Your man's coming.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office. Actually, so just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
I mean, already. What's Judge Judy doing?
She'd be like.
Wait.
Put his face is like. And this guy's on a suspended license, right? He's not only zoomed in whilst driving.
You stationary?
I'm pulling in right now at this second. Yes, I am.
All right. What are we doing?
Your Honor, we are respectfully requesting an adjournment in this matter, up possibly 2 to 4 weeks if the court would allow.
So maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And he was just driving. And he didn't have a license.
And you requested an adjournment, like.
Is with the charges, Your Honor, yes.
No, I'm looking at his record. He doesn't have a license. He's suspended and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
That's literally Judge Judy's reaction would have been like that, you know, that kind of just allowing the silence to say it all.
I don't even know why he would do that.
Yeah.
So defendant.
Yeah, why would you do that? That is just beyond any sense whatsoever, isn't it?
As you can imagine, what he went to court to sort out did not get sorted. He's in more trouble.
So he should be.
But how, like, I love that so much. My dad did a really similar thing when I was younger. So the TV license, I don't know if they still do, but they used to come around, knock on your door.
Oh yeah, they did, yeah.
And my dad was watching a football game, Leicester game, and he's like, yeah. And he's like, not even looking at the door. He's just like backing out, watching the telly. Can't take his eyes off. And he's like, yeah, come in, thinking it's just some random sales dude. And the guy sits there for about 10 minutes watching my dad finish the game. Finally, he's like, oh, yeah, right. It's gone to what do you want? He's like, I'm your TV license, right? And, yeah.
That's hilarious, because then it's like just turning it off. I don't watch the TV.
Absolute idiot.
It wasn't me.
Just like, there's one thing to be doing the thing in the first place, and like I believe in rehabilitation. As
yeah, that's
this man needs. He's not learning.
That's yeah, that's just something else. I feel like from watching Judge Judy so often though that driving on a suspended license and driving without a license is way more common in America than it is here. Like it's almost like less frowned upon kind of thing. Or am I just living a sheltered life?
No, I know what you mean. Or I don't know if it's just I know in my sheltered life. I feel like I went through life being like, you could never drive without her. Throughout my life, I have met people that are like, oh no, I got banned years ago.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? You just
risk it.
I understand how it was possible before, but now we've got like
like digital
ANPR, like you can't drive past the police with the light out without them like clocking it or whatever.
Shout out in the chat if you're driving without a license. I'm just curious to know how many people are. No, really, don't incriminate yourself. I'm joking.
I'm interested though. If you're ready to,
I've only ever met. I can only think of one person off the top of my head that regularly drove without. He had his own car and he just drove without a license and didn't really kind of mind that much. But I'd like to
do it.
I'd like to think it's not a high case because I think again insurance in America it's less like here driving without insurance is a huge deal and everybody has insurance. It's just the done thing. So if you get hit by an uninsured driver here, then you're screwed, aren't you? But I think in America it's far. You just have like collision only and stuff like on old cars and. In some states, it's not even mandatory. I don't know. It just from watching Judge Judy, it just seems like
I know what you mean.
Not as severe as it would be here.
Yeah, to be honest, everything in America just seems that little bit more.
Yeah, relaxed. Yeah, does. Yeah, without a fair, we love all of you. We get quite a few Americans watching, don't we, and interacting and all sorts. We love you all.
Yeah, definitely. We can't wait to do. It's a good excuse to do an American tour. I've always wanted to travel America properly, so
I want to get over there and get in the Judge Judy audience. That's on my bucket list.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
Invite me, Judy. I'm waiting.
Hasn't she got a new one now, Judy Justice?
Yeah, I'll watch that as well. Yeah, it's just
I'm into that.
Yeah, I'm into that. I'm into that as well. There was a brilliant one last night. It was an old Judge Judy case, but they were basically it was a watchdog was suing a filmmaker, saying that they didn't want them to bring to light this court case of a man whose teenage girlfriend shot his wife. And the watchdog was suing the kind of people that were representing him and taking it to Netflix. And it was a really old case, but I had to stop what I was doing and kind of go over to my screen and just like, has the program changed? Is this still Judge Judy? Because it's not usually a case like that. It was really unusual. And she was like, they kind of debated it out, and then she had to put her like 2 pennies in. It was really strange.
That's really interesting. It's not the average like.
Yeah, like your dog bit my dog.
Yeah. There was some crazy things on there. There was like people that took their parents to court because they like, I don't know.
Yeah,
strangest stuff.
Right, so without any further ado then, shall we get stuck into this week's topic, which is attachment?
Attachment!
I'm really excited about this one because I feel like so many things comes down to attachment, from your relationships failing to not being able to let go of physical items.
Yes.
So, like those people, like, because in the neurodivergent community, it's quite often to have hoarders. Like,
yeah, we like things, right? We put a lot of
sentiment into things.
Things. Yeah.
I've kind of got 2 switches. I've got this box of like a memory box that I can have more kind of value in a burnt out candle that's holding meaning than I would in like, I don't know, a branded item that's cost money, if you see what I mean. So I hold like memories and feelings with higher value.
Yeah.
But then I have this other switch where I can feel completely overwhelmed and overcrowded and just have to get rid of everything.
Okay.
Where it's like, I need space, like I need to just get rid of everything in this room and create space. And I think it's very linked to my mind. Like if I clear out a cupboard, my brain feels better.
Well, this is why I really wanted to do attachment, because when we talk about attachment, we think of being secure or have like these really bad attachment issues.
Yeah.
And there's different types of attachment other than secure that I think better describe exactly what you were just saying.
Yeah.
This attachment, it's the style of it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be there, codependent, clingy. Your style of attachment could be very lack of attached.
Yeah. Well, I've always, whenever I've gone to see a spiritual healer or have a card reading, they've always said, you need to ground yourself. You need to do some grounding. Because when I was younger, I could like lay my head anywhere and fall asleep. I could spend nights away from home and then don't get homesick. And I'm very much out of sight, out of mind with people as well. So somebody, even though they mean the world to me, if they're not on my mind or I'm elsewhere, I'm not even thinking about them. And it can...
That's a common ADHD thing.
Yeah, yeah. But it can upset people, can't it? Because they're like, you're not thinking about me. And don't get me wrong, I'll spend time, like, quite often as well, I'm thinking about people, but just not reaching out and saying that I'm thinking about them. But I don't feel like I suffer with homesickness the same way other people do.
Yeah, exactly. This ability to... It's hard, because I don't want to picture anything as like... Do you know what I mean? We all have very different ways of being. Very few of us have secure attachment styles, whether you're neurodivergent or not. That's very clear.
So when is your attachment style formed then? Is this something you're born with it? Is it how you're raised?
So early years, I did so much sorting these mics out, I ended up like just ruining what I wanted to do. So instead of a nice PowerPoint, because I love a PowerPoint.
We know this girl loves a PowerPoint, right?
I thought I'd just give you the information. So we've got a little visual here. Stages of attachment. So what is attachment? Attachment theory, developed by psychologist John Bowlby. If you've seen any of his experiments, if you studied psychology, you'll know who he is. Explores the deep emotional bonds we form with others, particularly in romantic relationships. Knowing attachment style can provide profound insights into your relationship patterns. And all of this is set into your early primary caregiver years, like the ones when you rely the most on people. So there's a very similar theory that Freud would have, and he had the stages of development, which started with like where he'd detail like the oral stage, the anal stage, where you're learning to it sounds bad.
Stage and anal stage.
The man was off his rock, let's be honest. But he was saying that he'd say, it'd start off being very like a baby's very interested in what it can get because it needs to survive. So it cries and it will shout and it will poop and it will smile to get what it needs, because it can't say, hey mum, I'm starving right now, go and get me something out of the fridge or I'm about to kick off. And you just kind of, that's how you communicate with that baby. That's the first stage. Its only response is what I get. Then you go into later stages where this child starts to realise, when it exercises the word no, you'll start to see in parenting where you go, oh, it's testing its boundaries.
Yeah.
With that, the child will also learn that saying sorry and crying more will have different effects on how that relationship goes. So if you're screaming and screaming, I want that, and then you end up getting told off, you're like, okay, that's too far.
Yeah.
And that's a child learning boundaries. Outside of that, the next stage is more of a communal. How does my actions affect everyone? And this is how you can start to develop social anxiety. Because these initial core stages weren't fully met or healthily met by your parents. But that is a very similar theory that you can cross over with Freud. And it will definitely, he lent very much of his... he got a lot of
crossovers.
Yeah, definitely.
So very straight away, I'm thinking about some of my students that I deal with. They will have been not cared for very well in those early stages, perhaps left to cry, if they had parents around that were actually drinking or taking drugs, so they weren't being attended to and stuff. So that's where they're learning that their cry doesn't invoke a reaction type
100%.
thing. And you start to get that self-soother and the one that turns in on themselves to look for comfort.
Yeah, the child brain is incredibly smart and it learns to adapt real quickly. Like, how does it get its needs met? Or how does it meet its own needs if it's not being met outwardly? That is the last thing you want a child to be able to do at a young age, because that's how you get someone that's like, I don't need anyone.
Yeah.
It's a very like, and then you might be like, oh, I'm very independent, I don't need someone. And then down the line, you're like, oh, I feel really lonely actually. And that can
Toxic
make you be mean to people. It can make you manipulate people. It's so let's look at, I'm trying to get this as like, open a new window. Just wanted the attachment styles.
Okay. So is this conclusive that there's just these attachment styles, or do you think there's like crossovers?
So after Bowlby, there have been more theories where people have gone. So Bowlby initially only put secure, anxious, avoidant, and disorganized, I believe it was.
Yeah.
More ones have been put in now. So as you can see here now,
okay.
we're understanding that it's anxious, preoccupied. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why I'm on this. I don't subscribe to that. This is terrible. Right, I'm just going to show you us and I'm just going to talk. So from the 4 attachment styles, you have secure. And this is formed at an early age because your needs were met. When you cried, when you pooped, when you looked at your parents and you smiled, there's certain things like mirroring, response time that are very important. And coming too quickly, we'll have a kid that's like over dependent.
Yeah.
But a lot of parents will say like, oh, you just got to let them cry. That's also can be quite a negative thing. Yes, let them cry it out if you feel like it's, they're just overtired or whatever. They do just need to sleep. But at a very young age, a baby crying means they need your attention. So try and get to it as quickly as you can. Because from a young age, learning that your parents don't come for you, that's how early it is. Its brain is being literally wired
there and then, yeah.
Oh my God, from an early age, I don't need people. So, secure. Characteristics that they have as an adult and in relationships is they are very secure and don't need other people. They are able to enjoy life as one, and they see a relationship, a partner that's healthy as an addition. It doesn't take anything away from their own life, and vice versa. They're also very confident with their intimacy. You see these people that struggle with being authentically themselves.
Yeah.
This is something they are much more better at. Being able to, I don't know, be sexy in front of a camera, being able to, it's a really strange thing, but a lot of people can unlock this. Like, I think a lot of presenters, a lot of like people with confidence, it's just
like secure attachment style.
Yeah, definitely. It's also important though that when you are a secure attachment style, the likelihood of you meeting someone that's also secure is a little bit rare. So understanding that you come from a very healthy position and you may face someone that's got a few problems. It's not your responsibility to fix them, but learning about how their attachment style is will be so much more helpful in a relationship.
Yeah.
You're not trying to guess like, oh, and then you're not trying to like, oh, I should just leave them. And you can make your own decision if something's not enough for you, but getting that understanding of how the other person's brain is awesome. So then we have anxious. Hello. So anxiously attached individuals crave closeness, but are often worried about their partner's commitment. They need constant reassurance and can be overly sensitive to their partner's actions. That doesn't sound like you at all, does it?
Not really. I mean, I go through little stages when I'm in a relationship where I require a bit of reassurance, but I wouldn't say it's an abnormal amount. I'd say it's just like, every now and again you have a few ups and downs where you're like, oh, do you still fancy me or whatever? I don't know. But yeah, I so far from what you've said about secure, everything you said about the secure, I was thinking, I am pretty secure, yeah.
I love that. I'm glad. It's nice to see when people relate to that category.
And also, even I was thinking to myself, but I'll wait to see what the others are, because although I feel like I'm quite secure, I don't feel like I've had successful relationships, so I can't be. But when you said it's unlikely you're going to meet someone else that's secure, it's just the fact that everybody's their own like mixed bag. I thought, okay, even that makes sense. That sometimes I think I'm too secure for my partner's good. You know,
yeah. So is that secure because you're still thinking that what you do has an effect on the other person?
Well, I think because I'm quite confident, and if they're not so confident, perhaps either it's, I don't know, made them feel insecure because I am so confident, or I've maybe not met their needs because I'm a little bit like, oh, put up and shut up, you know, kind of get on with it. What's up with you?
See, there is like theory into why these relationships aren't working. It's not just like if you sat there being like, how have I gone through so many? It's like you might just not have learned what your attachment style is.
If you like me and you're nearly 40 and you're thinking, I must be single because it must be my fault. No, yeah, exactly. Do something like this and realise it's for many, many reasons, but it's not that it's just your problem or that you're crazy, because, you know, I do sometimes wonder that.
It's hard not to worry it, right? You're like, I really thought I'd be married with kids right now.
Yeah, I thought I was a catch. What's going on? I know what you... Oh God! What about that was then? That scared me.
I can't even get mics and that to work. So
yeah, maybe I'm not as secure. Or...
exactly. I don't even need to be thinking about it.
So this anxious one then, is this? Do you think this is somebody that's been mollycoddled as a child, or somebody that's not had enough nurture as a child, or could it be both?
It could definitely be both. So, a lot of the further theories go more into it when they look at the different types of anxious. So there's anxious avoidant, and then there's dismissive avoidant.
Okay.
Someone who has a lot done for them. My God, my brain went off. Did you ask again? The anxious one, could it be?
Yeah, if you're anxious attachment style as a child, were you like mollycoddled and you've become kind of like, or were you not receiving the nurture that you needed?
Yeah, it could be both ways.
Yeah.
The mollycoddling, it's easy to see how mollycoddling could create an anxious person. More often than not, this idea of mollycoddling is just attentive parenting.
Yeah.
And can also, but we're all very aware that it can go too far.
Yeah.
It's wrapping your child.
That's what I'm thinking, wrapping them in cotton wool, where you've not even let them make their own mistakes or fall down and hurt themselves and cope with it.
So what that will create is a fearful anxious.
Okay.
And also on the other side, it's fearful avoidant.
Yeah.
Where you just, oh my God, no, I can't handle that. My brain shuts down. It's just too overwhelming, and all your body wants to do is just leave.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's the type that will just stand there and cry and stay in like a freeze state. It's more of your anxious thing. And then there's the people. So I don't know how it's how you respond to separate situations. Because another further building upon this theory is that we can move from one to another.
Yeah.
Someone that's secure in maybe a relationship with their parents doesn't necessarily always have the best relationships with partners. Mm-hmm. You can't always draw that same generalization.
Or even secure in friendships, but not secure in romantic relationships.
Yeah, 100%. There's people that are now understanding that they're more of pansexual, open relationship type of person, where they weren't supposed to, they don't feel confident loving one person, or they feel more confident giving all the love to all the people that they meet, which don't fit into these like.
That's the trouble, isn't it? We've tried to box everything, and everything's this is how you should act as a human. And I think what we're realizing nowadays more than ever is that even gender roles, relationship roles, all of these roles aren't necessarily the norm anymore. It's like people are more confident.
It's weird how each label is built out of a group of people going, I don't fit in this label.
Yeah.
Don't label me.
Yeah.
And then we make a new label.
Yeah.
It's like, because I remember thinking, like, what's the difference between, is it pansexual and pansexual is no matter what your gender is, right? But then there's, I suppose, bisexual.
I think, isn't pansexual though where you don't feel any attraction to?
Oh, no, that's asexual.
Oh, okay.
Ace. Shout out to the ace people.
Yeah, no, that does make sense now. But yeah, I've read like all the different labels, and some of them, like you say, you kind of think, well, what's the difference between that and that?
Yeah.
probably that you just don't quite fit into that box. So you
Yeah.
need to create a new label.
It's understanding that these small, like how language is used as well. Like, there's ones that would be like, oh, I love H gender, where there is someone that's like non-binary, where it's like, I don't subscribe to any gender. So you can't say you're into both genders because I'm neither of them.
Yeah. I've said it before and I say it again. If I'd have been growing up with all of this gender stuff going on, the way I am, not the traditional girly girl and not feeling like the traditional girly girl, I definitely would have fell for this whole kind of, hold on, maybe I'm not a female, you know. And I think what we've got to understand is it's just a spectrum, just like everything else is,
100%.
you know.
You're brought up a certain way, right, to be a certain way. But if your parents become more progressive, or they, you know, what you're learning isn't just from your parents, you have these more like, you're looking at other people like, so they don't just, all you need to see is one person, an example of someone that portrays how you feel on the inside, and you're like, wait.
And that's all we're trying to do, isn't it? It's just broaden that horizon.
100%.
We've had a really lovely comment in the chat, by the way.
Let's get over to it.
Just shouting us out.
Hey guys, I wanted to say you guys are awesome. I really like watching your videos. Oh, that's so sweet.
It is.
As I say, Mal. Hello, Mal.
We love having you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for commenting. So yeah, quickly as the other ones, avoidant attachment. As I said before, avoidant attached individuals value independence to an extent that it can impede intimacy. So
I think I can fall into this one sometimes.
I think that, you very much go from the secure to, I think it's easy to see how you can feel secure right now, because when you're not in a relationship, it's hard to kind of gauge, like,
I think what it is as well is that I had a lovely upbringing in terms of, you know, both my parents were there and, you know, they wanted to be parents and they had very strong morals of parenting and stuff like that. But then I think in my teens, going through the marriage breakdown then, as a teenager, and seeing, and you know, I'm a female, and seeing my mum get her heart broken, I think that traumatized me quite a bit.
And that's a really good argument against these kind of studies. Like, they say that these are formed in your early years.
Yeah, see, I think I was all right till I got to my teens and quite a bit of like...
I think until the brain is fully developed and you fully feel like you understand who you are as a person, this can hit you at any time.
Yeah.
If your parent was to die at the age of 13, 10...
Yeah, it's going to have a profound impact.
100%.
And the thing is as well, in your teens, your brain does go through a whole other set of rewiring. It kind of, it's biggest change since the toddler years. So, you know, if something's going to be traumatic during that moment, it's going to affect you.
Yeah, definitely. Whether it's so brutally affects you there and then, or that clever brain suppresses it because it doesn't want you to ruin any of your life right now. You're supposed to be growing.
Yeah.
Until the point where you get to an age and it just, that brain ruins your life. So people with avoidant attachment might also find it difficult to trust others and to keep partners keep partners at a distance. Like, I don't know if I can fully like... And it's not so much about telling the truth, it's about showing that authentic side of yourself. Like, I know that when I'm with someone that I really want to be with, it's because I can feel like, metaphorically, I can take my bra off around them. Yeah. I can take that mask off. I can be as silly and, I don't know, just me. There's no performance. And there's very few people that I have that with in life. And I'm guessing that's autism.
Yeah.
There's no other way around that. But I can see how, like... I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say then, I suppose.
About the trust thing, though, I would say that I don't necessarily struggle with trusting somebody not to cheat and things like that. Although I've been through my fair share of, you know, issues where men have cheated and then it's kind of had its impact. Yeah. But I still go into a relationship with quite the, you know, the open mind, and that I'm not going to let their actions ruin this and all the rest of it. But the trust of somebody's going to commit, and like, I think it goes back to seeing a marriage breakdown in my teens and that realisation that, hold on, you were meant to be forever and this was meant to be a lifetime, but you can just change your mind. You know, like that. Exactly. That's the side of trust that I would keep them at a distance, so that then if it does break down, it's like, oh, well, I'll be all right anyway.
It's like you've learned in your mind that even if we had a conversation right now and you said to my face, looked me in the eye and said, I love you, I don't want anyone else, you know that words can be absolute bullshit. And they've played out in your life before as being absolute BS.
Yeah.
Understanding that, you know, did that come from an experience that you've had with being cheated on? Did that come from seeing your parents? Understanding where that comes from and letting it be something that keeps you safe, if that's what it's doing. You know, if that's helping you pick out the red flags in these relationships, but also, is it holding you back? Check in with that part of yourself. Like, am I being unfair? Am I treating this person like my ex because my ex would have done 10 times worse things right now, and this guy's like, huh?
Or even like, am I keeping my walls up? Because that's the other thing. You can sense when other people do it to you too, where they don't let you in fully. And it's like, there's nothing more lonely than sitting next to somebody and feeling like there's a huge distance between you.
100%. The best, I feel like this is where men struggle as well, right? It's so easy and acceptable for men to go to that angry place. It's almost seen as like warranted and justified in many areas. You know, they were being the protector. That's just naturally how men are. Boys will be boys and all that. Anger, you cannot form any relationships while angry. That is the emotion that you need to keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
When you want to build a connection, you need a completely different energy, emotion, state of mind coming from you to be able to attract safety, to be able to attract that goodness that you want back. So if you're, oh, I got cheated on, can I just check your phone because my ex cheated on you, or because my ex cheated on me, and or like, oh, can I get your pin drop or whatever it is? Can I see your location just because my ex used to do this? Like,
yeah, you can't be bringing that energy into
exactly.
that. Yeah,
you're already placing so much like you're gonna do this, to the point that there is this phenomenon, right, where people will cheat.
Yeah,
they're accused of it enough.
It's crazy, but I believe that you're kind of manifesting your own reality. So if you believe they're gonna do it enough, eventually they will, because you're almost creating that for yourself.
Take it out of cheating. Imagine if your partner turned to you every day and was just like, you steal oranges from me, and you're like, huh? What? If you did that every day, you get to the point where you're like, mate, I don't want to be with you anymore. I don't know what you're on about.
Yeah. Or you'd be like, do you know what? I'm going to steal the orange. If I'm going to be accused of it anyway, may as well do it.
Exactly. Because you have literally tormented me to the point where I'm being treated like, it's ridiculous.
I had a conversation as well this week about pattern recognition. Right. And the fact that ADHDers and autistic people are really good at recognising patterns. Now, we'd always thought of this as like, oh, you're good at maths, or you're good at problem solving, or seeing when there's going to be a problem. Yeah, but we were realising that it feeds into that intuitive value of, I know what's going to happen in this relationship, because you've seen that pattern before, that pattern of behaviour, or that pattern of, so even though somebody might be saying different things, might be behaving in slightly different ways, if it's the same energy and it's the same subtle clues, your brain is so good at picking up on those patterns that you can kind of think, but this is going to it's going to break down, or this is going to happen, because, so it's really hard, because you've got to balance between not manifesting it into existence, but being on the ball enough to say enough is enough. I can see that this is exactly the same as what I've encountered before, and knowing where to draw the line.
I think that's where like the psychoeducation, learning about your own brain, and then also communication, having the ability to say, hey, I know you said nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
Neurodivergent, pick up on these slight differences. I can feel the tone. Like, can I just check if there is something wrong? Because this is what I'm picking up. And I don't know if it's me attuned with my own bodily readings, if I'm like attuned right, maybe I'm feeling a bit sensitive, but this is how my brain works. This is what I need for it to be
and if they react angrily, then that's a red flag. Yeah, because at the end of the day, usually
you do that.
But usually you would naturally just reassure, wouldn't you? Like, oh, no, of course nothing's wrong. If there's nothing wrong, we definitely need to do another on relationships. We did one right at the start, didn't we?
100%.
But, it feels like so much has happened since then.
Right, all these things are good to come back to as well. I saw a comment recently, I think it was from Mark, talking about, and it got me into, I was typing loads about compassion. I was like, I need to do another episode on that. Just to,
definitely. I feel like I've learned so much more about compassion, and that I was oozing compassion for other people, but to the point where I wasn't showing it to myself, and everything has changed since I've become more aware of that.
Your life changes with compassion focused therapy, I'm telling you.
It totally does. Just picking up on yourself when you're being harsh to yourself and saying, you need a little bit more self-love in your life kind of thing, and being kinder to yourself, it just changes the mood of everything.
Oh god, yeah. And it will help so much with this, once you find out what your attachment style is, you get to be compassionate to yourself about how that is, because it's not your fault of the experiences you've had and the reason you're like this. And then you can be kinder to yourself when you're checking that negative self-talk, when you're checking yourself like, oh, don't treat them like that, because it might not be the reality that's playing out.
It's that thing that it's not your fault what's happened to you, but it is your responsibility to kind of deal with it and try and become your own favourite self.
Definitely, you owe it to yourself and, unfortunately, to the rest of society, because you live with them. I just believe that we all owe each other a little bit of peace in this world.
And that's the thing. As much as I say quite often, I'd love to just go to the woods and just live on my own or whatever. That's a lie. I'd like to go to the woods and live with my chosen community. It's like the people I don't like in this world are the people that are unhealed and are walking around being angry and abusive, and it's just not very nice. And it bother me.
You'll see these two different types of people play out. When you look at the anxious type, when they're going through this heartache or a relationship breakdown, all they'll want to do is contact the other person. Oh no, for whatever reason, oh please, because this idea of the attachment leaving worries them. They know what it's like to cry and no one comes, sort of thing. And it's terrifying, and it plays out in front of you in a relationship. The avoidant types do the opposite, and normally we know that avoidance and anxious types, they join up at the start because they're amazed by each other. You can be that out there and that woo, and then the other one's looking at you like, God, you're so dependent and don't need anyone, and it's just so attractive, and you love each other at the start for that. But those very same reasons you got together will be the reasons that you end up resenting each other if you don't figure out how they're interacting with each other.
And how to communicate with each other so that you don't end up falling out.
Definitely. So if you're arguing, and one person goes, no, I've got this, I'm leaving. It's hard because you've got two situations happening here. Should you leave when you're triggered in an argument? Yes. Should you come back and also explain, I'm going to go and have 10 minutes out, a day out, I'll be back? That's how you do it. Don't just storm out the room. That's avoidant.
The other person. It's about communication.
Each of you will look at each other like, how could you do that? You must be the worst human being. And it's just because you process things completely differently.
How does this translate into your house then, and objects and items and clothing? And
so attachment, this is more to do with your relationships, but I would say that if you're someone that lives without, it's hard to say. There's many reasons we become attached to certain things. We are materialistic people, unfortunately.
I've been taught to be, or brainwashed to be, rather.
Yeah, we're also resourceful, right? We understand from early times that you gather things, you save it up, because you never know when you won't need it in the future.
Okay, so there's this survival instinct almost there as well.
It kind of unfortunately benefits capitalism, because we still have that part of our ancient brain, so it's like, we must buy cars and motorcycles, and why did I say motorcycles? We'll buy motorcycles. All these fancy things that you're spending your money on that really don't make anything different to your quality of life.
I see a lot of people in our community that are just shopaholics, and I'm not using that term lightly. It's like they are online shopping constantly, buying clothes that they don't need, and
it's from Shein, so it's dead cheap. I still bought 30 items from there this month.
I just find it staggering that people haven't got this awareness that your brain's tricking you into doing it to get a thrill for itself. But then on the other hand as well, the other way around, like this guy that I used to live next door to before the amazing Anna moved in and became my new neighbour friend. But the guy that lived there before, bless him, he was a full-on hoarder, as in when they did clear his house, there was the bottles of wee and that kind of level of hoarding, but books and things like that. But you can't help but kind of feel sorry for him, because there was this element of desperation around keeping that stuff and not being able to let it go.
That's where it becomes more of that element of control, which is really strange to think that these people are perfectionists. To look at it outwardly, you'd be like, huh? What's perfect about that? And it's like, you don't understand. Everything that's there is so comforting to that person. Just knowing that it's there and no one's touching it, no one's dealing with it, no one's coming and asking.
It was a really
hey, what are you doing with that?
Isolated person.
And it becomes the point where you almost convince yourself, like, well, I can't go out and make friends because they'll just come in and judge me on this.
Yeah, so it's like this vicious kind of
then it's like, well, why don't you fix this then? Well, no.
Yeah, well, he had builders in at one point because the ivy was growing through the roof, and he had these builders in and they were like changing the windows, putting in double glazing and stuff like that. And we heard him one day just having a meltdown, and he lost his rag with these builders, like kicked him out of his house and everything, and he just went into meltdown mode. And
that loss of autonomy.
Yeah, and it was horrible because you just knew that it was just too much for him to cope with, people being in his house and touching his things and everything changing, and and everything had obviously got on top of him. But
we see bottles of pee, we see like a mess. Generally, my style of my living room isn't what other people want. I can't imagine how I'd feel if a group of people started coming in my living room and went, oh, you can't have this.
Yeah, so
you can't have this. Out. Oh, Stephanie, please, really? I'd be like,
feel attacked.
Yeah. I'd have a meltdown.
See, I'm like the opposite, where I'm quite visual, so it's like if there's clutter, I cannot concentrate. So then people try and say, oh, you're just procrastinating, because I'm like, I've got to tidy a room before I can get on with my work. But it's not that.
Tidy mind is a tiny house. No, tidy brick. Tidy house is a tiny
Yeah,
brick.
I am Eminem and I need to clean my closet out.
I love that. So, right, I forgot that I did put down the how these would all play out, but I put them in hypothetical situations. Okay. But I just wanted to go into the last one before we finished. The last one is a real strange one. It's called disorganized.
Oh, okay.
And
is that going to be me?
It is by far the hardest to observe, to understand in a child, and then to also treat, because you understand that you've got the parent that doesn't come. You understand you've got the parent that is too in your face. Mm-hmm. Disorganized is when you get a parent that will do one and then the other.
Oh,
this can happen in narcissistic parents. A lot of addictions where the parent is one state and then another. This whole sometimes it's like love and the other time it's not.
Jekyll and Hyde kind of character.
100%, and you never know what you're gonna get. And it's really sad when they used to do tests on this, basically to understand attachment style. They would first drop a kid off at nursery, like a pretend daycare, and watch it from the outside, observation studies. So the kid would be dropped off, and first you study how it reacts to the distance being created. Mm-hmm. So when the mum leaves, how does it react? Healthy child doesn't like that. That's my primary caregiver, that's my safety. I don't like this. But if you've taught this kid to be safe and to understand, I've given you to this woman, this person's safe, very quickly they can start to self-regulate their emotions and turn their sense of safety to this caregiver, nursery worker, whatever it is. Where was I going with that?
Well, just about the chaotic caregiver where they come and they go.
Right.
And how it's observed.
Yeah, so how it's observed. So the second bit that's studied is when the parent comes.
Yeah.
So a healthy kid will look around going, Mom, yes, can't wait to see you. And they'll bring them back. An anxious kid will be like, why did you leave me? Why did you leave me? How dare you? You see the kids running up, like, kicking them, like, why did you leave me? Yeah. They're mad at the kid. Avoidant is, I can't believe you left me. You're not coming now. Do you know, you can almost see this, like, how dare you?
You've seen all of these reactions.
And you think, oh, if you had a good day, and they're going, no. And it's just, they've had a bad day.
Yeah.
Because you left them at this. And they were like, what? But then this disorganizes, it's like, oh. And that's when you see a kid just stare. There is no reaction to the kid leave. There's no reaction to the parent leaving. There's no reaction to the kid coming back. The caregiver's like, you okay? And they're like, yeah. It's heartbreaking. You're like, show me the kid crying again.
It's so weird because as you're talking, I've run a kids club and all of the kids there had additional needs and came from various type of families. Some were adopted and fostered, so a real kind of mixed bag. And I've seen all of that.
It all play out.
Yeah.
It's insane when you can see them in clear categories.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very just advised, if you are that kind of human, you're going to lead a lot of therapy and a lot of help. And I strongly, if you're feeling like relationships just aren't working and you struggle to connect with people, please seek therapy. There's nothing wrong with you at all. You have experienced something that has literally traumatized your mind from a very young age. And I don't want you going on thinking that
you have to live like that.
Not at all.
That's the most heartbreaking thing about it all. It's like therapy is not a weakness. It should be as kind of the way you take care of your health should be the way that you take care of your mind.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of think about exercising and eating right and all of that just to naturally take care of your body. And I think therapy should be absolutely just a normal part of your kind of landscape of things that you do to keep yourself healthy. It shouldn't be a case of you need therapy. It should be we all need therapy because we all indulge in it to a certain extent, whether that's just moaning to your friends, you know, going for a walk, watching something like this, whatever it is, we all do it.
We all need it. And if you don't have that connection, the ability to just rant sometimes, get it off your brain to like process the information. Sometimes that's all you're doing with another person. It can send you in such a downward spiral where you think you're alone, that there's no help, and
or that it's your fault, and that's quite usually not the case. You know, the argument, the fallout, whatever, might have been your fault in that moment.
Yeah.
But none of us, you know, kind of chose that, like how we were brought up or whatever. So it's almost like we've all got this little responsibility to kind of unpick who we are and what we've experienced so far and kind of create a happier life for ourselves.
Definitely. I thought the disorganized attachment example. So the theoretical explanation, disorganized attachment develops in environments where caregivers are erratic, abusive or frightening. The child experiences a sense of confusion as the caregiver is a source of comfort and fear. So Sophia's mother is loving and nurturing in one moment, but can become really harsh and unpredictable without warning. The erratic behaviour leaves Sophia feeling scared and confused, unsure of what to expect. So like when you pick up them patterns. Oh, I'm seeing this happen. I'm ignoring you. Oh, I've seen this happen. It's like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's coming. It's like a deer in the headlights constantly because you've got no time to relax. Kind of like horror films where, you know, like the bad stuff happens at night. When it's daytime, you can kind of chill when you're watching it. There's none of that. So as a result, she develops a disorganized attachment style, exhibiting a mix of anxious and avoidant behaviours. So it's just those two combined, and you don't know how and when that's going to happen. Sophia might find herself in tumultuous relationships, struggling with both a desire and a closeness for fear of it. So you want it, but I don't
scared
want it.
of it.
I want it, I don't want it.
God, I'm like, oh my God, when I disorganised.
When I learnt this at university, the whole room went, wait. And we had to be like, no, look. You've all had difficult relationships. We're all humans. Don't assume that this is directly yours.
In my childhood, though, there was this element of walking on eggshells.
Right.
And me and my brother joke quite a lot about if we made our dad laugh, we felt so proud because he was kind of he's a Gemini.
Yeah.
And why are Geminis Jekyll and Hyde? Like, astrology's real.
What date is Gemini?
Early June. Late May, early June.
Right, okay.
But then he, you know, I understand now I'm in my 30s and he was in his 30s back then, but he could be one day something that he'd find funny, the next day we'd be getting spanked and sent upstairs for it. So there was very much this, you didn't know if you were coming or going, and he also parented via fear as well, so we were very scared of him.
It's really interesting.
But on the other hand, my mum was really nurturing, and we always say that she balanced it out type thing.
So when it comes to that primary caregiver, I feel like your mum may have had that overlasting, stronger hold.
This is where
even when Dad was doing this, we know we can go to Mum.
Yeah, definitely. And each other. Me and my brother had a really strong attachment and a really strong bond towards each other. Brilliant. And this is the thing, I do feel like overall I'm secure, but this kind of dipping into a little bit of anxious and dipping into a little bit of dismissive.
Understanding how you can easily, you know, have that paradigm shift of like, hold on, is that what's happening? And being able to think, nope, that's because that little thing happened to me when I was younger. Stuff wasn't quite you know, exactly how I needed it, and no disrespect to anyone's parents because they didn't have any of this information.
Well, this is the thing. I certainly don't want to make out that my dad was like abusive, because you know what I mean.
Exactly.
He certainly wasn't. He loved me, you know, like
Yeah.
he was never outwardly trying to disturb me or anything like that. He
Yeah.
just wanted the best for me, kind of thing.
I say it all the time. Like when I say I'm anxious avoidant, it's not when your mum didn't come to you when you cried. It wasn't that. No,
Yeah.
she didn't. But it's because she was a busy single mum with a law degree that was working, and she just didn't have the time.
There'll be a lot of parents out there even that are watching this, not just us seeing this as being the child, but there'll be parents watching this, kicking themselves, worrying they've done the wrong thing. We're all human, like we're all just doing our best.
100%.
You know,
this is why we're trying to do this in my broken, not even with a PowerPoint way, hoping that it comes across still.
I think it has. I think it's been a really interesting conversation, but I hope that anybody that's watching this that has got children, you know, just know that you've done your best and that's enough, and that
100%.
keeping those communication lines open
Yes.
with your kids is the most important thing, because it might be that they're a bit angry at you for certain points in their lives where you didn't realise that you had upset them or whatever, but just talk it out.
What is that anger covering? You know, what's the real underlying feeling?
Yeah.
But if you're an adult that you're still experiencing these issues and you'd like to know, you know, is it set for life, my attachment style, can I change it? Bowlby would have said no, but further research since then, people are like, of course you can. There's plenty of people that have gone through traumatic experiences that go through self-growth, and then they're much more secure, independent within themselves. But I've got some tips and advice for you if you're in a relationship for your type of attachment. So, secure attachment. Do not think you're off the hook. You have to maintain open communication and mutual support. Use your stability to help partners with different attachment styles feel more secure. You are the monolith here. You should be the
rock.
Exactly. Don't you be sucked into their behaviours, because that can happen too. You know, we've all been secure, met a narcissist, and suddenly I don't feel that secure anymore. Do not let that other person. So be the help that you can, but also compassion, the knowledge to accept the suffering and to do something about it. But if you can do something about it, if it's about your hands, you don't need to do it.
Yeah.
Anxious attachment, self-confidence building, work on self-confidence and self-soothing practices, rhythm breathing, picturing a safe space, meditation, mindfulness. Communicate your needs clearly and seek reassurance. Be clear. Use I sentences, not accusatory sentences. Therapy. Consider therapy. All these ones, please consider therapy. It's such a life changer.
And if you try it and you hate the therapist, just try another therapist. Yes. There's so many styles out there, isn't there?
Oh God, yeah, that's a brilliant bit of information. So avoidant attachment, emotional openness. We want to challenge you to open up emotionally and embrace vulnerability. We want you to practice relying on others and expressing your needs to build deeper connections. And that sounds terrifying to someone that does not like that.
Let's make vulnerability cool.
Yeah, vulnerable. Oh my God, that is the new sexy. When a man's vulnerable. Hello. And gradual exposure as well. Gradually increase the amount of emotional sharing. So don't think that in that first instance you're like, okay, I need to be to get more attachment with people. I'm just gonna go to someone at the bus stop and just tell them my whole life.
That's me.
And you can do that. Sometimes you'll make many friends doing that, but expecting that to be the thing that will help you gain that idea of attachment.
And that could be quite traumatic for yourself if I'm the person listening. You know, if you're not used to sharing your emotions, take baby steps.
Yes. The idea of gradual exposure is that each time you can gain a little bit more confidence by carrying out that experiment last time. Like, okay, well, it went last time, I can push a little bit further.
Yeah.
So if you do that to someone at a bus stop and they go, huh? And ignore you, that's not going to reinforce like, this is what I should be doing, so don't do that. Someone close to you, a parent, really close friend, your partner, just try saying to them, I'm going to try being more open, so if I do, don't worry that I'm dying or anything. I'm just don't make a big deal of it, just listen to me.
Can I just make a point there that if you're the kind of person that at the weekend you go out and you get on it and you find yourself in the kitchen pouring your heart out, I would take that as a massive indicator that therapy is for you. Because I think a lot of people hide behind getting drunk and using drugs as a way of, well, now I can be vulnerable. But actually, that in itself is like, that's what you're craving. And, you know, you're using the alcohol and the drugs or whatever to bring your walls down to allow you to do it.
It's like a communal wall that's brought down, and then like we can say anything. You know? You'd start saying the weirdest secrets to each other when you're off. To be like stuff you don't even need to be sharing right now.
Yeah,
but you're right. A great indicator.
Yeah,
You somewhere inside you wants to talk.
Yeah, and you know, have a go at doing that without the need for the beer, and you know, talk with those friends openly and honestly about the fact that what I say when I'm off my face is the truth.
Yeah, and you're not telling me any advice you got from someone off their face was any good, or you remember it.
Yeah,
it's not happening. So the last advice for disorganized therapeutic support, but also consistent practices. Develop and stick to consistent, safe relationship practices. Reduce chaos and improve emotional regulation. This idea of being a disorganized attachment and then being like, I can be pansexual. It's probably not going to be, you know, find your safe, your happiness, but also adapt that secure confidence on your own. All of these are really helpful, I promise you.
Can we just shout out the girl in the chat, which I think her name is
Mao.
Yeah, Melise and Alexi Rose as well, because I've just got a message saying that they're watching and that they do, and that I'm not sure how to say her name, but I'm going to try again. Melise watches all the time and really enjoys the stream. So thank you very much, and keep watching. We love having you.
Yeah, I love that. That's really sweet. I feel like we've tried to stuff so much in this to an hour, so we will to more of this. Is there anything particular that you want to learn more about, then please get in contact and let us know.
And compassion, I think we will cover compassion. I think we should. I think it leads into it really nicely.
Yeah, okay, perfect. We'll make sure that we can't end this episode without picking Patreon of the month.
Patreon, so every episode we dedicate the episode to one of our subscribers. Somebody that pledges to us on Patreon. So this episode is dedicated to, let's go with Frankie. We're kind of going in order.
Hey Frankie,
thank you so much. I think she's on holiday at the moment, actually, because I've been seeing some beautiful photos that are making me very jealous that I'm not on holiday.
Do you know what?
Right
I know
now,
exactly who you're posting. She has the best bikini fit around the pool with the heels on. Yeah, she's stunning.
And a little girl like matching as well, like towards. Oh, I love it. But yeah, shout out to you. Thank you so much for your support.
May says, hello guys, it's me, Liz.
Yay.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, Liz. That's really sweet.
And this is our monthly draw then. So everybody's name that subscribes on Patreon that pledges to us, whether it's £1, £5, £10 or £25, all of your names are in there. And one of you is going to be the lucky recipient of some prizes. Do you want to press the and spin it and see who we get? Spinning. See who
put it up to the camera, see if we can make it out while on there.
How does it say? Oh, it's so excited. It makes me excited. Oh! So we've got two Tashas on there, but just to be really clear, it is Natasha Clayton.
Congratulations.
Very well done. Thank you so much for your one from the start, actually. One of our very first Patreons. So it's really nice when you know that one of our day ones gets a treat.
That's awesome.
So we'll get some goodies sorted out to you. In amongst those, there will be our brand new ADHD guide that's now available. Our anxiety guide. And a few other lovely bits and bobs and some chocolate I think we've got as well, haven't we? So excellent.
We look after you guys. And we want to because we're so thankful for the support. As you just saw there, like going through the names, I was like, oh my God, that many people support us. It's growing every month. It's so fun. We really love it. If you want to be able to take part in the next draw, all you've got to do is subscribe to one of these things. From £1 onwards, you'll be included in the weekly considered giveaway, and then at the end of the month, once every month, we pick a winner for us to send you some prizes. So shout out Natasha Clayton, who is this month's winner.
I'm just making a note here to sort your prizes out and actually put them in the post rather than just be like, podcast done.
Because that's the ADHD thing to do, right?
Let's do it. Compartmentalise. That's the end of that. Now I'm on to the next chapter.
But if you would like to get some of these books for yourself, if you head over to the website,
They're all on the website now.
it's so cool. You don't just have to, it's not just downloaded, you can get physical copies. And these are so cool. Work through them with your kids, do them on your own as an adult. They're fantastic. Go and get yourself one.
Yes, I think that is about everything, isn't it? Have we actually
That's
ticked
everything.
off? Yeah.
I feel like, yeah. Wow, that's us.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys.
I hope you've enjoyed it. I feel like this week has been so informative. It's definitely caused me to do some thinking and some soul searching on a deeper level.
Yeah, have a look. I mean, I feel like I did rush through a load of them, and again, not having my PowerPoint, it's harder to like stick to a way that a format that I can get it out. So, like I said, if there's anything you want to like further brush up on, use my what I've said as like a springboard to go and find out the rest, or comment below and I'll cover it in the next episode.
Hit that like button, guys. We've got a fair few of you watching, so please hit the like button.
I was supposed to say that at the start.
It really, really helps us. And if you've not subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe as well.
Thanks a lot, guys. We'll leave you to it, and we'll be back next Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Yes, Wednesday.
Yeah, not Thursday. It's my cat's fault.
This is Steph.
And this is Lindsay.
We are a different podcast.
Oh, and we're a different human design.
Good night.